Nkgokenjia, but it seems that he has been left out of this.
No, he wasn't there. The point, like we say, that's the point where we try to stop giving names to people or honor to individuals. FM No PT belonged to a force called the Marine Force.
Correct.
And the Marine Force, that's why at some point when he had issues, he had to change his name from FM to Foot Soldier No PT, because it looks like some of these titles that we give to these guys are also a deception to lead them to their deaths. We don't need all these titles. What matters is that these boys are fighting and defending themselves and staying alive for us.
You know, I'm not fond of titles either, and I know that Sako was giving them all these titles, but some of them too started assuming the titles. For FM of Ambazonia, for example, I think he set that pace where he gave himself the title, and then before you know, Sako took over, started giving them titles. Then others were like, well, if they are giving other the titles, I have to assume my own title, and they started picking the titles by themselves.
No, I'm sorry to say that is not usually the case. It is usually the case where money is being sent to these guys. I know a lot. I have evidence of much money embezzlement for these boys.
Okay.
When these people who were county security heads and so on, when they were given money to send to these boys, they had their own deals with them. And so in order to shut some of them up, they proposed these titles to them.
Oh.
Do you get the point?
Yeah.
So they give you title to shut you up, to feel that you are unknown by somebody. And that makes you not to begin to question where money has gone or what. The case of Bui, I remember I shouted with so many of them when suddenly generals came up, and I was like, do you need these titles? You need resources to fight, not titles.
Right.
And at some point, I'm still going to come back to your question with Sagon. I haven't ignored that. At some point, that is when they realized that these titles came only to create more infighting, because you heard Sagon the other day complaining that how will I be an FM and you go and make a major general without my knowledge?
A major general that's supposed to be in the same camp with him, correct?
Thank you. You get my point.
Right.
So these are some of the things that the fighters are realizing, that they were only there merely to deceive them. The second point where you get these titles coming are usually from press singing. Now imagine a fighter goes and kills 2 Ekelebes and comes back with his guns, and they start singing, oh, General, General. From there, it takes up. Every human being wants to be recognized, Comrade Chris.
Right. Right.
So, and then to come back to what you are asking concerning Sagon, I think one of the fallout, or let me say one of the advantages of the meeting that took place on the 2nd of December in Baalikumbat, where these forces in Nkgokenjia met, was the issue of handling the misunderstanding between the Only Bro and FM Sagon. And I can tell you that it was getting nasty at some point, where you heard all the threats that were going online.
Right, right.
And I think we should be grateful, even though each time we have these children sitting down and talking to themselves, we will still call them privately because we have their numbers and give bad advice to them. Some will listen, some will not. I think one of the advantages that, or let me say the taking point home, was that they tried to reconcile these two people. And I think I already got an update today that the two people have agreed to sit down and talk their differences, which is already something positive for us, because it is useless for us to be giving an advantage to La République, because when we are fighting each other, the credit goes back to La République, not to us. We should be our brother's keepers, and no matter what, we should not let other people manipulate us. You remember, just a day after this meeting in Nkgokenjia, where these fighters sat down and decided that they will be working as one without calling names of individuals. Immediately, an audio emerged from General Onlebro, who was standing and castigating those calling him from the diaspora and giving him 500,000 and calling chaos. He was again betraying himself.
Right, exactly. And there are people in the diaspora who are in jail because of those ransoms.
Exactly. And he was even saying that no matter what, I don't like to call names because name calling sometimes, I know that I'm not a coward, but the point is I'm here to build. He was calling the leader, the name of his leadership, that he will never go beyond, and that what transpired there was just for him to do this. And he was addressing one of the fighters that I can call the name Gabonese. And my point is, you can see what you can see an answer to your question, what brought this chaos. Imagine these fighters not realizing it, trying to come together, and someone is trying not to let them come together. And they do this. I remember someone when I made a comment on my post saying that they will start dying one by one. Unity Warriors has become stronger than ever before, and it's the only force today that you see that fights daily because of that unity.
All right, comrade, thank you. Let's move to another subject.